なんとかなったみてえだな。畳みかける。これがスーパーサイヤ人3だ。
So whenever I stream, somehow this topic comes up in the chat. We somehow end up making a long-winded rant about power creep in Legends every single time I stream. So I decided I'm just going to make a video on it so it's easier to just direct us to that anytime the topic comes up. But Dragon Ball Legends is 7+ years into its lifespan. It doesn't matter what game it is. If it is a gacha game, after a couple of years, it's going to run into the exact same issue this game is running into right now. These games, they always try to motivate you to spend money, and the simplest way to do that is to introduce power creep. One hand, it's how cool the character is, but the other hand is the sense of urgency that you need this character to either keep up with whatever the meta is right now, or to deal with one of the more pesky characters that you may not like whatsoever. So when a game first starts out, they're still testing the waters. Everybody is on ground zero. We're all nothing. There's nothing crazy going on with our kits and passives. Everybody is about as bare bones as we can be, right? Here's Super Saiyan Goku, one of the first sparkings we ever got. If anything, the first one that we got. Main ability draws him an ult. One little passive, not even two passives, one passive where he gets 35% damage inflicted if Krillin is defeated. Nothing fancy, no bells and whistles, no fireworks, no nothing. About as bare bones as it gets, right? Within the same year, I vividly remember people were already ringing the end of service bells because of this guy. Green Bardock, because at the time the way that they were doing power creep was stat padding. If a character had some of the highest strike attack in the game, oh my god, this guy is broken. If you had the highest HP pool in the game, oh my god, this character is absolutely broken. Bardock managed to do two things. One, he introduced a new form of power creep tech called no switching. Bardock was the first character to have a lock-in, and number two, he had some of the highest multipliers in the entire game. We actually got to a point where you needed to have Bardock or you were not playing the game. Already, less than a year into the game. Where I think things really got crazy for Legends is the 2nd anniversary. This guy. I think Vegito Blue is when everything started to go crazy. They wanted to shift away from stat padding being the power creep and direct it more towards what technical passives the characters have or sort of the multipliers that are within their kit. Vegeta Blue was so broken he had to change the way the game functioned. He, paired alongside the green Kefla, would combo for so long that they either got a rising rush in a single combo or they pretty much killed whatever character you had. Because a lot of you don't know this, but during this guy's heyday, you could only swap to one character. So picture this. Vegeta Blue gets priority on you. Probably PVs you. He goes one strike, into another strike, into another strike, and he's doing crazy damage. Crazy amounts of damage. And then you swap to somebody else. Maybe you swapped into a red character so you can stop getting beaten up. Your opponent swaps into Kefla, or some other character that has type advantage over your character. Sorry, green character. Some other character that has type advantage over him. You couldn't swap anymore. You were subjected to the whooping that was coming downfield. At the time, I never understood this. I remember talking about this and saying, why the hell can we only swap defensively once, but my opponent on the offense can swap as many times as they want? It doesn't make any sense. So they changed the battle system because of how long this combo went for. And then, of course, as the years went along and we got more premium characters on a technical front, more or less these characters felt the same. I feel like this guy sort of did a big leapfrog in terms of what characters could do, but more or less things stayed relatively the same. I would say that the next time we saw something really, really crazy happen would be when the purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan dropped. So that guy was another giant usher of power creep because he had the revival mechanic. And him being a revival character also came with some of the highest stats in the game. Got him at 3 stars. We had a 600 Legends Limited Z power. His stats are dumb. His kid is dumb. He is dumb. This is absolutely redonkulous. The character is nothing short of a new turning point in terms of power creep. He's going to be spanking everybody, so let's go ahead and do that. But those of you that don't remember, this was at a time where LFs were not only hard to pull, but they were rivaling against the Zenkai meta. So they had to deal with characters that had absurd stats. A lot of people would avoid even bothering going for new LF characters because they would just get defeated in the face of a Zenkai character that had much higher stats. But this guy was praised because his stats, even at low stars, were monstrous. Paired alongside the fact that he had the AoE green and some really crazy stats and crazy damage inflicted multipliers, he was the next big king of doing crazy amounts of damage. Then I would say the next time they changed how the game worked is when we got Red MUI, because he came with this auto dodge, auto hurt you, really stupid gauge. And during this guy's heyday, remember, we did not have quick attack when Red MUI was at his peak. So this guy was just free and comfortable to just stand there, and you all just got to roast marshmallows together, have a therapy session, have a conversation, because nobody was doing a damn thing. This was one of the worst metas of all time, dealing with this guy's face. Now, the only reason why I bring these up is because I'm trying to show you technical power creep, stat padded power creep, and where we are now. Dragon Ball Legends has gotten so complex. I think Legends needs to start considering gatekeeping kits with individual tags. I don't think it's possible for them to just comfortably let these characters roam free, having the entire kit allowed to them. If anything, I would say they've already acknowledged this to the tiniest degree, because we've started to see more characters with things like this. If I am fighting alongside Sun Family or Hybrid Saiyan, I get more damage and a little bit more tanking. This to me is like just baby chicken definition of they want to do something, but they only want to dip their pinky toe in the water. They need to start going all in if they want to stop crazy amounts of power creep and obnoxious PvP metas. We could go back to, I don't even know. We can go back to even the previous Legends Festival a whole year ago. Everybody hated the long combo meta at the time, and Legends decided they have to go through a whole giant sweep of battle system changes to hurt long combos, at a whole new design philosophy change that they're not even adhering to, in order to prevent that from happening again. But Legends, if they decided to not let some of these characters have their full kits right away, I think a lot of it could have been avoided. So the biggest characters that cause all that crap, this guy and this guy. This guy was just the perfect character. I think, without a doubt, Majin Vegeta is the perfect character. He had no faults, he had no weaknesses, and that's the big reason why everybody hated that period of time. Majin Buu Saga was too damn strong, and they slapped on yet another super sharp sword to the team, which is Green Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But how much of this could have been alleviated if they simply decided to restrict some of the kits, right? What if Ultra Majin Vegeta only had debuffing if he ran with 2 other Vegeta clan allies? What if his counter gauge only gave him a blue card if he fought with, again, 2 Vegeta clan allies? What if just any aspect of his kit that pushed him over the edge had to be restricted with a bunch of other like tagged characters, preferably ones that are weaker, so that this person's intended buff aligns with that tag? Even some sooner examples, right? Let's go with something sooner. One of the worst and annoying metas that we dealt with is the Triple Ultra team. Ultra Namek Goku, Ultra Full Power Frieza, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. This guy's KO guard, even to this day, is a pain. And right now, I would say this is the biggest thing that people want changed. Everybody hates this character because team-wide KO guard is too damn much. Just having a second life to everybody for free is annoying as hell. The new Gohan is undisputed #1 and devastates the game. That guy has a friggin' revival, so I have to kill the best character in the game 3 times because of this guy. What if the KO guard was simply restricted? What if Goku's KO guard was restricted to 2 other Saiyan allies? What if you needed to run a Krillin to have the KO guard? What if, what if the lock-in required 2 other Saiyan allies? This kind of thing would be what would avoid some of these disastrous metas. Full power Frieza. Everybody hated this guy because the Death Beam, not only was it an easy long-range, short animation projectile in your back pocket, but he just made combos go on forever. It was just a beam into cards, into a beam, into a card. What if his active skill could not get cover null unless he had 2 other LOE battle members? Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. This guy's kick is overpowered and has no countermeasures, and it was supposedly an answer to KO guard, but he's also the biggest example of a character that abuses and avoids the battle system with the unique gauge. He force draws cards, and he gets key. With that, he also has arts cost increase, buff removal, and 2 lives. But what if this guy only had buff removal and a second life if he was on a pure GT team? Do you see what I'm saying? The triple ultra team wouldn't be obnoxious at all, because if you run these 3 idiots together, you lose KO guard, Frieza doesn't get cover null off the Death Beam, and Vegeta doesn't have a second life. Wouldn't this all of a sudden be a much easier team to deal with? I can rush them and I don't have to care. I can combo them and I don't have to care. I can blue card them and I don't have to care. They don't have so many second lives. This is what I'm trying to say. I think Legends, after all the years of them upping the ante, upping the power creep in terms of just stat padding, multipliers, and overall kit complexity, as you can see here versus what we had before, 1 line to a whole bunch of different bullet points, Legends needs to start restricting the most important parts of kits to specific tags. Otherwise, you're just going to run into obnoxious PvP metas like we have now. Ultimate, we got the Ultra Namagoku with the Gohan, 3 lives with a damn Gogeta, all this disrupt, all this pain, all this support. If they don't start restricting kits, then it's only going to get worse from here. Because think about it like this. Every single time we had a meta Gohan, it took a nuke to get this guy out of the meta. Sometimes the intended counter ends up being this guy's best friend, and he's just ran on the leader slot. If they are trying to kill this guy, who feels like he feels like a perfect unit, by the way, support, AoE green, disrupt, some of the highest damage in the game, second life. If they intend on countering him and the counter just ends up being his best friend, and they don't do anything to patch out the kit so that they can't be ran together comfortably, how are we resolving any issue then? We're only going to make it worse. And I think the kit complexity and the power creep and the obnoxious combo of these characters is the fatigue that people feel whenever they think of PvP. Because every strong character is immediately met with this dismissive feeling of just tiredness, because they know they got to run him with the 2 other best characters in the game. Some people might say this is a symptom of the leader slot then. We need to do something about the leader slot. But I would say the overarching issue is they don't do anything to restrict these characters to specific tags and for what they're trying to buff, more importantly. So I think Legends needs to start factoring that in. I think being little babies and just going with something as small as like, oh, a little bit of damage, a little bit of tanking. No. Now, I know players are going to say, but then these characters lose value. I want to be able to run my character wherever I want. Well, you can't have it both ways then. You either accept that these guys are going to be designated to a specific tag, and in that way we can avoid just having this obnoxious, annoying combo of characters with all the tech and all the damage, or you just embrace the fact that we're just going to have obnoxious PvP metas forever. Every game has a meta. There'll always be a best team, but we can avoid having the best parts of everything be stitched together. Like, we don't need to deal with Thanos' glove with all the Infinity Stones, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. We can make it so that we can have strong teams that could be difficult to deal with, but it doesn't have to be like I'm pulling my hair out to fight it every single time. So you guys let me know in the comment section below if you agree, but I think it's time that Legends needs to start factoring this in, and I would say this right here is them even acknowledging that they got to do something. Otherwise, it's going to get chaotic. So you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think. Part 3 Ultra, if they don't do anything to restrict them, is going to be a pain with him, Ultra Nemagoku, and the Gohan. But until next time, peace.